Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to my channel. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, hey, how come Clark Kent's wearing Superman's shirt? No. You're saying this guy's been making videos like crazy. Well, you know, it's like when I have an idea in my mind about something to film, I want to rush to it and film it. So yesterday I did a thing on my favorite solos, and Zeppelin pulled down 10 Years Gone. So I figured, hey, I'll play 10 Years Gone today. And then last night, somebody was passing around on Facebook. I saw this video with, it's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and Prince. And I watched it, and I was like, okay. I'm a big Prince fan. I mean, when it comes to records like Dirty Mind, Controversy, 1999, Purple Rain, what's the double album there called? Sign of the Times, the Death of Prince album, where it's the one that has Let It Go and Come on it. The Symbol, the one with Diamonds and Pearls. There's so many records that I love. In fact, if you want to hear an effing amazing Prince song that came out towards the latter end of his career, look up the song Get on the Boat. Get on the Boat's one of the greatest funk tunes ever. It's nuts. It's awesome. It's a great, great song. I've mentioned in the past, however, things about Prince that I found not so great. For instance, the solo at the end of Let's Go Crazy, where he's got all those effects on, he's very derivative. If you look up a record by Funkadelic called Let's Take It to the Stage, smoking solo on Get Off Your Ass and Jam. Smoking. But you can hear where Prince got his sound from. You could take that solo, Get Off Your Ass and Jam, and put it almost on any Prince song from the early 80s. That being said, you know, he plays a lot of instruments, and he plays a lot of instruments well. The guitar, however, for him to come onto a stage and play, I'm like, okay. But if you watch the video, Mark Mann is absolutely crushing some of the Clapton leads that were played on the record. I mean, and Mark Mann does a killer job. He's an underrated guy that goes unsung. For those people that are just finding out about like Steve Lukather through my channel, I've had many comments where people say they haven't really heard much of him, and now they're like getting into him and realizing how many records he played on. Well, Mark Mann's one of those kind of guys. Mark Mann is killing it in this song. Then they look at Prince for Prince to come out and close it out. And to me, it's like just stock, like licks in A minor with the F sharp. I mean, A minor in the second position. You can call it A minor Dorian. You can call it the key of G. But he is basically just wanking some pentatonic stuff in that key. And I'm like, this is not good. Not only am I thinking this is not a great performance by Prince, then I roll down and I read these comments, and everyone's like, Prince is showing everybody what's up. Prince is the man. And I was like, are you kidding me? How are they not sitting there commenting about Mark Mann? I mean, not only did Mark Mann play a better solo, but I'm pretty positive that Scott Thurston on bass and could have played a far better guitar solo than what Prince had just laid down. Some of these comments was like, people look like, you know, like they're not impressed. They're not. I think Harrison's kid's having a great time, and he's laughing at the antics, the stage things. And let me not take away from Prince really knows how to come on a stage. He, you know, the whole thing with the entourage where he pretends he's going to fall off stage and a guard gets him. And, you know, just a lot of stuff. He does a lot of shtick. His forte to me is not to come on and try to be the guitar hero, because I personally don't believe him to be. I found it to be very just blues lick. And I can already hear people in the background screaming, "You're racist, you don't like him," because I mean, that's absolutely absurd. There are so many black guitar players that I think are far superior to Prince. In fact, one of my all-time favorite players in the world is a guy named Jimmy Hazel, who is a legend in my eyes. In my mind, when I hear Jimmy Hazel and 24/7 Spies stuff, to me, I hear who should be the biggest household name in guitar. And yet we live in a world where Prince comes on stage and plays a few minor pentatonic licks and with a $3,000 hat and suit. It just bothers me. It bothers me that we pay such homage to such pedestrian stuff. I don't know. It bothered me. Call me crazy. I just think that, like, for years, again, and I'm not a big Clapton fan, but I've always heard my whole life growing up, Clapton's God, Clapton's great. I've never saw it. I think he's a decent player. I'll tell you, the stuff he plays on that Beatles song, I think that's some of the best stuff he's ever played in his life. Again, for me, the Clapton stuff is more the songs and more, and same with Prince. I love the songs. I can't say this enough. Listen to Get on the Boat. The song is phenomenal. I just think that people need to stop this, like, idolizing mediocrity. He's been extremely prolific over the years. And it kind of reminds me, when people used to ask me, what do I think better, the Stones or the Beatles? I would always just say, well, the Beatles, because the Beatles in the 8 years of recording, or however long it was, there's not a bad song. There's not a filler. The Stones, there's a ton of filler. So it's like they've done what the Beatles have done, but it took them 40 years where the Beatles did it in 8. But so I just think that Prince has a tremendous amount of filler. My brother is probably one of the biggest Prince fans I know, and he'll even say some of this stuff's terrible.
Purple Rain. No. Sign of the Times. Definitely not. The Batman soundtrack. Throw it. Okay. Oh, Dire Straits. Throw it.
But I will say, I think he's a phenomenal musician. I think that as a guitar player, it just bothered me. And I just wanted to put it up there because it's like the stage was riddled with phenomenal people. I mean, Jeff Lynne, the songs he's written over the years, every Electric Light Orchestra song I think is phenomenal. I don't think Prince has an album that's as good as Out of the Blue or A New World Record. And I like Discovery. Or as the diehard ELO fans like to call it, Disco Very. I love that stuff. I think it's great. I think that stage was riddled with great musicians. Scott Thurston, again, I'll mention him, played with the Motels, played with Iggy Pop and the Stooges, played in Tom Petty's band. The band was up there. Mark Mann did work with Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo, did work with ELO. That stage is riddled with great players. For people to just sit there and comment on Prince's 2-minute solo at the end where he's just kind of showboating, to me, is basically telling of why the music business is in the condition it's in. Lately I've been getting a lot of responses on my video about Tonewood. And nobody comes at me with any scientific thing. It's always like, oh, no, you can hear the difference. Oh, okay, let's just forget about science. What do you need? What do we need physics for? Oh, you can hear it. Oh, okay, great. Question's over. Forget about it. Yeah, forget about it. That's not even... And gravity, that equation's probably all wrong, too. We probably just think we're walking on the ground. We're actually floating. So great. And then people love to comment on my... I did a review on Gibson, and this was hilarious. This guy goes and comments on things that I say in the thing. But he's saying, like, I'm like, well, if you watched it, you wouldn't be, commenting. It's like he saw the title and then just laid a comment down. It's like, all right. So, for now, very good.